Hi, in this video I want to teach you how to knit this crop top sweater. It's very easy to do and it looks amazing with this thick yarn. But something that I want to recommend you is to do the border part with a smaller size needle than the one that I recommend in the video. I did this one with the size 19 US or 15 millimeter, and the border part is a little bit too loose for me. So I will recommend you to use a size 12 millimeter or 17 US for that part of the border, the beginning of the piece. But if you want to make this piece long, you can do the entire piece with a size 19 US because it don't need to be tighter in the part in there. Or not just tighter, but a little more is too loose in the back is for my liking. So that's something that I recommend to you if you like to do that with a smaller size knitting needle for that part. So here I'm gonna leave you the list of materials you're gonna need to make this beautiful piece. Little sweater. This is the yarn I'm gonna use. They are Isaac Mizrahi Craft Premier. Only have 63 meters. It's 140 grams, but it's very short. It's a super bulky 6, 85% acrylic, 15% wool, and the color is Union Square. The needles are Red Heart US 19 or 15 millimeters. You're gonna need tapestry needle and scissors. I'm gonna cast on a little bit different than I always cast on. This time I'm gonna do a slip knot. I'm gonna pass through the needle, leaving it nice and loose. And with the other one I'm gonna pass it through and I'm gonna knit one, pull it out, and this one that I have in my left hand I'm gonna pass it through that loop, remove this one and pull. I don't want to pull too tight, I want this nice and loose. Now I'm gonna go in between the two stitches, right through in between like that, and I'm gonna knit, pull my yarn through. Now with this one I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna pass it through. I have 3 and pull my yarn, not too much. It's a little bit difficult with these long needles to record, so bear with me. So I'm gonna grab my yarn, knit the next one. Because this is very thick, I'm only gonna cast on 30 stitches. This is a size large. So if you want a little bit smaller, I recommend to use one size smaller needle or just cast on 28 stitches. You see my stitches are nice and loose. So I'll meet you here when I have my 30 stitches on my needle. Once you have your 30 stitches cast on your needle, it'll be like this, nice and loose. So you're gonna do 3 rows of 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, 1 net for 3 rows. 3 rows is quite a big piece because the thickness of the yarn. So you're gonna start with the purl, or you're gonna start with the net. I start with the purl, the other one I start with the purl, this one. The other piece that I already have done, that I'm going to show you after I finish this. So 1 purl, 1 net. If you're using a thinner yarn, you have to cast on more stitches, so you have to have enough for the water part of your body. That will be around the chest because this is a shorter sweater. So like that, you're gonna finish this row. I will show you how to start the next one, and from there you can do the third one on your own. I already finished the first row, and look at how fast it goes. So this little sweater you can do it in a day because the thickness of the yarn. I already done the back part of the piece. See, it's nice and short, and this is the 3 row of 1 purl, 1 net, and here. So in total for this one I did 23 rows plus the 24 was the casting off. and this will be the back, and then I will explain you in this one how you're gonna do this one, because this one gonna be the front and it's gonna be a little bit different. Here, that first row I finished with the net and the reverse of the net, and this side will be a purl. So I'm gonna start with a purl, and then a net, a purl, and a net. So this row you're gonna finish with the net, so you will have to start again with the purl for the row number 3. So I will meet you here after we have done the 3 rows. Here I finished the 3 rows, and look at how quick and fast the work go. So now you're gonna do all the row, and the right side they're gonna be net, and the wrong side gonna be purl, except the 2 border stitches they're gonna be purl in both sides. So you're gonna start with the purl, and then you bring your yarn to the back, and you're gonna net. I was going to do a purl. You're gonna net until you have only one left on your needle. Like this. And then I will show you when I finish this row how you're gonna start the next one, and then from there you can work on your own until you have the desired length for your piece. Here I have one left on my needle, and I bring my yarn to the front, and I'm gonna do a purl, turn my work around, keeping track of the number of rows. So you're gonna do this row completely purl. All the way to the end. So when you finish doing this row, I will show you one more time how to do the right side, and then from there you can do it by yourself, your piece. Here I finished that row number 5. Now I'm gonna start row number 6, and look at how fast. So by the end of the day I will have my little sweater finished. So you're gonna start always the right side with a purl. You're gonna net 28, and the last one will be a purl again. So you're gonna continue netting in the right side and purl the wrong side, and remember those 2 purl on the border in the right side until you have your desired length for your piece. I'm gonna measure the one that I have right now already done here, this one. And it measures almost 31 centimeters. So of those 31, 18 will be for the sleeve, and then the rest is the length of the piece. See, it's nice and short. So go ahead, start in your piece all the way here, and I will show you how you're gonna cast off the back part, and then how you're gonna do the front part. I want to correct something that I mentioned. I said that I did 23 row and cast off on row number 24, and it was only 22 row and I cast off on row number 23. And sorry about that. And if you already had done 23 row, go ahead, you can cast off on row number 24, or do one more and cast off on row number 25. 1 or 2 row more don't make a lot of difference in this piece, just a little bit, 1 row longer. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna show you how you're gonna cast off. This will be for the back part. You're gonna cast off right straight, and the front part gonna be a little bit different. So you're gonna, for me, it's casting off in the wrong side, so it will be purl. You're gonna purl the first one, and you're gonna purl the second one, and you're gonna pass the first purl on top of the second one, and like that you cast off or bind off your first stitch, and you're gonna do the same the next one. You're gonna do a purl in the next stitch. You have to on your needle, and you're gonna pass the one in the back through the top of the front, and you cast off the next stitch. Like that, you're gonna continue all the way to the end, and you're gonna begin to make the other piece for the front until you have your 22 row. In row number 23, I will show you how you're gonna continue, because it's gonna be a little bit different than the back. So go ahead, finish, and when you cut, leave a tail for sewing the shoulder part. I already have ready the back part, ready to go, and now I'm working in the front. So I'm at the level of my row where I cast off in that one, and in this one I'm gonna separate the shoulder, the collar, and the other shoulder. So I'm gonna purl 9 stitches, the first 9. So after that, the 12 in the center will be for the collar, and the other 9 left on the needle will be for the other shoulder. So I'll meet you here when I have my 9. Here I have my 9 stitches for the shoulder, and now I'm gonna separate the collar. So I'm gonna purl 1 and 2, and I'm gonna pass the first one on top of the second one, and I cast off my first stitch for the collar. Now I'm gonna purl another one, and I'm gonna cast off the second one on top of that one, like that. And you're gonna continue working, casting off, and you see that separating until you have only 9 left for the other shoulder. Here I have 8 stitches in this needle, and this one in here is number 9. So now I'm gonna purl the rest of the 8 stitches until the end, like this. So like that you have the separation for the collar. What it look like when you finish with the separating the collar. You will have these 9 that we're gonna work first in this side, and after we're gonna work in this 9 in the back, so they will stay there in the same needle. So you're gonna do your purl stitch for the border, and then you will net the rest. You will turn your work around, purl the row in the back, and in the third row of the shoulder I will show you how you're gonna work, because we're gonna do a decrease in this part. So you net to the end and purl the next row. Here we're gonna start the third row, and we're gonna do the border stitch and a purl stitch, and you're gonna net, leaving the last 2 that you're gonna do them together at the end. So I'll meet you here when I have only 2 left in my left hand needle. These 2. Here I have 2 left, so I'm gonna net these 2 together. So now I will have only 8 stitches left in here, and I'm gonna work those 8 stitches for a few more rows, maybe 4 more rows. And after that I will cast off and then work on the other side. I don't know yet how many more rows I'm gonna give it. I will let you know at the end when I finish this side. So what I'm creating here is more of a open collar in the front. I don't like those turtleneck touching my neck. I don't know why. It must be because I'm from a tropical country and I never had to wear turtleneck, so I'm not used to. So I like more like an open collar in the front. So I will do that, and I'll let you know how many more rows I will give to mine in this side before the casting off. So they will be sewn here and this side like that. At the 7th row I'm gonna cast off in row number 8. So I'm gonna purl the first one, and purl the second one, and I'm gonna pass the first one on top of the second, and like that you're gonna cast off like you did the other piece. And then after that I will show you how you're gonna start working on the next shoulder. Don't forget to cut the yarn long enough for sewing. Here I have one left, and this is the yarn that I have left from that ball of yarn. So I'm gonna use for the other side what I have left over from that ball of yarn or that one, because I have a little more, because this one I only did 23 row, and this one I did a little bit more by creating the shoulder. So it will look like this when you finish, like that. Now with this stranded yarn, we're going to attach it here in the back of the first stitch. And I'm going to do that, and later I will lose that tail. So now we're going to net 8 stitches and purl the last one, the border stitches, and remember is 1 row of net, 1 purl, and in the third row of net you're gonna do the decrease, and the decrease gonna be done in this one here in the front, 2 together, and you're gonna continue working the same amount of row that you did in that side. You're gonna do in this one, you're gonna cast off, and then we're gonna attach the pieces together and then work on the sleeves. It'll be like this, like it is. Nice and easy, but remember you have to do exactly the same in this side that you did in the other. So it will be, I'm repeating myself again, this row of net, 1 row of purl. In the row net you will do the 2 first one together and a net stitch, and then you will continue working until you have 7 row more, counting those 3, 7 in total, and then you cast off exactly the same way you cast off. Now we're gonna sew the pieces together. I already sewed this part here, and this is the seam here, but I look like it's part of the net stitch. You see? So we're gonna do the same on the other side. We're gonna come here, and through the outside you're gonna grab this stitch here, and you're going to do the same in here. So you're going to come here and you grab those 2, the knit stitch, and you're creating like a knit stitch in this side too, like this, and you're hiding that seam inside. You see? So you come here and do the same, grab the knit stitch like that under, and grab and do the same in here. And you're creating like a knit stitch in the top. So you're gonna continue all the way to the end. You're gonna do the 2 the same, and after this we're gonna create the sleeves. This way you don't see a seam in here. The seam will look like this, and it looks seamless. So now we're gonna start with the sleeves. To know how to do the sleeve, you're gonna even the bottom part here, because remember the front part is a little bit longer than the back. That way I create this for the shoulder. So the seam for the back is in here. So this is the center here for the sleeve. I'm gonna measure from 18, 19, pretty close to 19 centimeters. That way is a little bit loose for wearing something underneath. So I'm gonna mark 19. Okay. I'm speaking Spanish. I'm gonna mark 19. And it's here. So I'm gonna put a marker here on each side, and then there is where I'm gonna cast on my stitches for the sleeve. Here I already done one of the sleeves, and I cast on 24 stitches. I did 24 row plus 5 row of this one here of purl on both sides. So that's the length of my sleeve, and that took one of my ball of yarn. And then now here I already marking the other side, and it's from that marker to this marker. And you're gonna cast on the stitches here where you have those border stitches from the row of those pearls, and you're gonna grab those pearl. And here in this stitch here that is long, you're gonna wrap it and grab this one like this, and you're gonna cast on your 24 stitches. Once you have your 24 stitches, you will do net on the right side and pearl on the wrong side. And until you have the desired length before you do the little border at the end. Once you have your 24 stitches, or the amount that you need for yours, you're gonna come here in the first one, and you're gonna pass your yarn, and you do a knot in here, and you're gonna net the right side and purl the wrong side until you have your desired length. Like I mentioned, for me was 24 plus the rest I did the purl on the right side and purl on the wrong side for that border. So it's very easy. It's exactly what we did in the piece, you know, netting this side and purling the inside. So will be like this, the border. You see, this is all, this is a net on the right side, and this here I did this row purl in the right and the wrong side. Okay, so the length of this sleeve is around here, almost 3/4 sleeve, where I have this one here, because I don't have enough yarn left to continue. I have enough just to leave this to sew the side of the sleeve and the side of the piece. So I'm gonna do exactly the same in this one. I'm gonna do the sleeve, and I'm gonna sew them in a zigzag this under the sleeve and the side, and I will show you the end result. It's very easy and simple. Well, here is the end result after you finish your sleeve and sew them underneath and the side of the piece. Something that I want to recommend is, if you're gonna make this piece, I recommend to do the border part, this one here, with a smaller size needle. I use for this piece a size 19 US or 15 millimeter. I will recommend to do that part with a 17 US or 12 millimeter, because it's a little bit loose for me in that part of the here of the waist. But if you make this piece longer, you can do it just with the big 19 US or 15 millimeter. Well, I hope you guys like it, and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you are not already a subscriber. And if you make this piece and you want to send me some picture, you can do it through my Facebook page, Ruby Stedman, or you can find me in my Instagram, Ruby Stedman Crochet. I wish you a happy, beautiful day. Bye.